remember, artificial general intelligence and quantum computing. So that means technology is supposed to become superiorly intelligent to all humans and solve all our problems because of our human frailties. Okay. Now, when you're having to deal with money, if you eliminate money and conflict over money, you share care, given accordance to need, built to last. You're not going to build a cabin and then build a metal structure over it to keep the cabin safe from the elements. So you're like living in a wooden cave that you built because you bombed yourself back into the Daniel Boone times and covering it with metal. Heavy metal. And you're like, why are we doing that? Doesn't that seem to be a waste of resources? That's not sharing, caring, given according to need, because money is an object that puts the object in front of doing things right. No Proverbs, right? So you've got to understand, when you do something, you look at, you build, Haile Selassie, everything that you think you acquire from learning, if you'd use it for selfish reasons, you negate all the wisdom from the perception of learning, right? And it's not really learning this per se as much as like me and the lady talked about the cheese yesterday at Walmart. It's about faithful communication. Life's eternal, grace is infinite. It's relativity, right? It's Einstein. And Muhammad and Jesus and the Bible and the Buddha and the Krishna and so forth. Okay. When the communication is reliable and faithful, you have 10,000 years ago, and you have a guy that's faithful living the Lord's Prayer on planet Earth 5,000 years from now, they're communicating. And therefore, they're reliable sources of communication, which is greater than ideas. It's based on faith and infinite glory through an eternal existence through holy covenants. Okay? Which totally negates that statement that the academics gave to my mom. Poor minds think of things, average minds think of people, and great minds think of ideas. Well, I don't like spy equipment, and I don't like atomic weapons. So those ideas suck. So take your ideas and go fuck yourself, because that's all you've ever been, is a fucker for 10,000 years. And you're still trying to do it from our present to the past to maintain our present fuck. Right? So when you're talking about a person that's humble, there are supremely intelligent people that are arrogant and lack the capacity to be humble. So all this stuff, building tiny homes, going to Europe, finding the right tiny home to build the right tiny home. I need 100,000 likes. If I get 100,000 likes, I can get the materials from the corporations that are sponsoring these videos to build this tiny home. Why do you need a tiny home? I've got to move. I've got to travel. Okay, Cossack. Okay, Vandal. Your brain activity is caused by the movements of your relatives that are not faithful. There you are, lost in the shadows, searching for someone, set you free from you. Where did all those yesterdays go, right? It's one of my favorite songs. I like that song a lot. Yeah. Anybody else like it? I tried listening to the disco stuff from China, but it went too long and I wasn't really digging the music. And it's like, okay, does it go to the next song? Probably not for a while. Okay, well then that's true, because Rapper's Delight is 15 minutes in the extended version. Okay, so I'm just not feeling it, right? Now, To the End of the World by the Pat Metheny Group. Well, yeah, I'm feeling that. Okay. Jazz bolero, man. Okay. But this Chinese disco bolero, once again, I wasn't feeling it. But Pat Metheny Group, oh, yeah. That man's a really good guitar player. Boo doom doom boom ba doo ba doom. Dwa-da-dee-da. I like the scat singer. Yeah, he's good. Dwa-da-dee-da-da-da. Dwa-da-dee-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, so that's a good song. To End of the World, Pat Metheny Group, Jazz Bolero. It starts out kind of, and then it goes, well, and then it goes back to, yeah. But it doesn't end, it's not as melodramatic. It's more like it just keeps going. Yeah. It's good. To the End of the World, Pat Metheny Group. We Live Here. That's a good album. Yeah. No, it was the Pat Metheny album before that Maurice White bought with his Sinai Man. Okay. That's who he bought, was Pat Metheny. Yeah. Well, Pat Metheny's good. He's a very good, very talented musician. So, yeah, Maurice White obviously had really good taste in music. Right? I can take a woman, I'll leave her alone. Temporary lovers come and go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're the only woman that I've ever known. Yeah, he's one of my favorite composers, and and when I was a kid, and then when I met him, it was like, that was real depressing. Everybody else in Earth, Wind, and Fire, the thing was everybody else. Philip was wonderful. Okay, he's one of the sweetest, nicest people you've ever met. Sharon, we know. Clarence Ferdinand was, Mr. Baptiste. Everybody else in the band was down to earth, sweet, kind, intelligent. You know, they all came in and met us and enjoyed us at Circles. Sharon went to the concert and said, "Hey, I'm from Circles." They said, "Come on in." And she called us from the after party because we were sitting there going, she got tickets and she's going to the concert. We all had to work tonight. So ha ha ha. But we met them all. And then she called us backstage from the concert party sitting next to Philip Bailey. We're like, frickin' Sharon. It was hilarious, right? Me and Rodney were laughing our ass off. Well, that's pretty funny. Yeah, it was hilarious. She called, yeah, which of course she did. Then she goes, we go, "How did you get in there?" She said, "I told them I was from Circles. They all enjoyed us so much at Circles. We got you into that backstage party with Philip and the rest of the guys, Sharon. You know that, right?" You told her that the next day at work. She goes, "Yeah, it was funny. He's a real nice guy." Like, yeah, Sharon, you're funny. We had to work. We were stuck at work counting money with Al, and Al going 11 teen, 12 teen, 13, and we had to start over. Me and Jennifer sitting there telling Al. Wonder how Jennifer's doing now. She's so cute. Yeah, little munchkin. That's what was cool about Jennifer and Edna. Okay, Jennifer was maybe 5'1". Okay, maybe. Okay. And same with the real Susanna Martinez said, "Tell me more jokes. I want to use them on Joelle." It's so neat when they're like 4'11" and they own it. They're like, "I am like supersized sexy," and they know it, right? And you're like, because you call them short. Yes, I'm tiny. I buy my shoes in the children's section. And I got this they know that half their clothes they have to buy at the kids. Like laughing, and they own it, right? Well, with Susanna and Susanna and Edna, no, Edna had to make her own clothes. Okay. Well, because they wear the shoes and this and then, but the pants, it's like, okay, they're this tiny, but they got a butt that goes, okay. Kids don't have booties like that. No. And see, that was Edna and Susanna. You got this, whoa, digital display. It's ready for the world, right? And so it's cute because they're only like 4'11" and 5 feet tall, but they've got like, wow, I'm having trouble with the curve here. It's another goddamn Clint Eastwood movie, right? You're like, holy cow, right? Yeah. Well, and I remember she got in that car injury, and I was like, we need stem cell research now to help people to recover from that kind of traumatic injury. So her husband, she can enjoy being with her husband, and her husband can enjoy being with, I ain't having no troubles with these curves. Whoa, heaven, I'm in heaven. And no, really, when you have a faithful wife for life, we talked about menopause, and then once you get that, and then the kids, and you get the grandkids like once a month, and then you can have sex without her being barefoot and pregnant all the time, and her teeth falling out from the parasites that are called babies, trolling all the, that's wonderful. It's a mature relationship. I haven't got to enjoy relationships. I have visions planted in my brain by Zephora and Moses saying, "Hang in there, Earl." And Jesus from the future going, "It can happen to you." I don't have to have a lottery ticket and be Nicolas Cage with the girl at the the waitress. Okay, son of a bitch, right? So, and I realized because with the prayers I had with people in the future in Sierra Vista, I'm talking to Earl. Earl did, he's the focal point of us all living the Lord's Prayer. The visions I saw, and it was interesting to me because I got excited. I don't know if it was a movie screen playing out or if they were fucking my head or what, but, people that I liked basketball-wise. So anybody know who Bobby Jones is? Okay. So I get these molecular similitudes of the line of Bobby Jones and Julius Erving and stuff and everything that are, older than Julian, but they're all going and traveling and playing basketball, and some are coaching and helping. The Bobby Jones and Julius are helping. They're coaches, and they help guys be more mature and settle down. And because it's nice to have the guy on the bench to make sure that, okay, let's do this and help with the strategy and get guys. So it gives you kind of like an experienced leader to help you with the team. And you don't do it forever, but you do it because it's fun. And you go to, then let the, then you pop, bubble wrap with you, let the kids play. You're going to be late for work, and work is just as much gardening and making love to the wife. It's not really work. It's like a labor of love as it is, you don't have to pay extortion or exploitation. You're addicted to feeling powerful through manipulation through people with money. So you eliminate that money thing. You don't have those videos anymore by the owners of the Clippers saying, here's what's really happening with them fucking with your head with invention. What a fucking genius we have over there. Shit, make it stop. I'm working on it, but this is not an M. Night Shyamalan script. And I'm not writing a movie for Samuel Jackson. Okay? We're trying to save Kane's daddy, man. From a life of incarceration, man. You're incarcerated because you're institutionalized and you're indoctrinated. There you go. Knock it off. Eternal wretchedness. Forgive, dead, and trespass. Love, once, or unfaithful peace. Share, care, give, of course, need, built to last. Okay. So when you watch all those videos, it's all this bad brain. Tiny houses, tiny homes. I built this on $100 budget with the and then with me, like mine, I'm doing something really fun and entertaining. And then I'll become Dad said move away from there. And hey, let's go to an investment company instead of drill in the backyard and hit our septic tank and have the kid go, it smells funny. Right? Okay, so does oil. When you smell oil when they're working, okay, on the streets in the summertime in New Mexico and stuff like that, in the parking lots, it smells like shit because it is. It's death and decay. It's petroleum, yeah. And then it burns. It burns us! And then you get the chemicals from the, yeah, so it's a bad idea. Unfaithful forms of communication, not the Messiah. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's hard. Yeah, no. I know that the military death camp groups of mass murderers, guys, liberals and conservatives are much different. Okay, conservatives accept mythology and then believe in magic real estate after you're dead and send their kids off to go, he died and I'm writing this down in a trench, Mom, and protect all the sons that are fighting tonight. Why aren't they standing for the Lord's Prayer? I commanded them to stand for the Lord's Prayer and live it. I didn't command them to kill over rich people money. And dear Lord, keep America free. Okay. Okay, don't tell Jesus what to do. He told you what to do, and what he told you to do is perfect, and what you're telling him to do is insane, right? And the woman knelt down by her bedside. She sat down and said, Charlie Kirk, teach Bill Maher how to promote the proper cloners and robot builders, right? You're like, what the fuck? I know. They're crazy, right? And then the liberals, they're the enemy. We have to kill all of them to win. They kill themselves to win. So how are you any different than they is? And then you want to kill your capacity to sexually reproduce and then enjoy sex and sell sex. And your money is more honest than their money because they do what you do, only you tell everybody you do it and they do it behind closed doors. Charlie Rich isn't really rich, is he? No. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't Fuzzy Wuzzy, no. Or was his name Mike? The kid that was dying from leukemia? He's a real fun kid. We used to go over there and hang out with him, and he was like a teenager. But he enjoyed hanging out with me and Paul. Me and Paul were like 10 or 11. And we'd joke around and read comic books and play games. Same with Mike Murillo, but Mike Murillo was our age. He didn't like hanging out with the teenagers because they were sex-driven, and he's dying, and he doesn't have that. He just, cartoons, innocence, jokes. Fuzzy Buzzy has a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? No. And he was just a big, overweight, sweet kid. He loved having me and Paul come over. Mike wants you and Paul to come over. You and Paul, or Earl, to come over. Okay. Well, we liked hanging out with his cousin sucked. His cousin was there. Want to his donut? I like donuts. Boom, hurts donut. Okay, don't stop hitting me. Okay, that fucking hurts. I know. You want a hurts donut? Go away. Go. No wonder Mike likes hanging out and doesn't like hanging out with his fucking cousin. His cousin's an asshole. He's a bully. He's an asshole. So we're like, Mike. That's why he had me and Paul come over, and we go, and kind of like, you know, and you had to like, you're a jerk. No wonder Mike doesn't want to hang out with you. But Mike died from leukemia, from chemical toxins and stress and poisoning. Okay. The fucking bully's probably still hitting his grandkids saying, "You want a Hertz donut? Pfft, I'm ready." And dear, and Mom, Mom, the captain just gave us orders. Mom, we will carry them through and protect all the sons that are fighting tonight. Dear Lord, keep America free. And how do we keep America free? By that loser Mike dying from cancer because he won't fight for what he wants. I could have told you, Mike, this eternal wretchedness was never meant for someone as kind and fun as you. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? No. It's cute. He had a porch swing. And one of those porch swing chairs like my grandma had, where we'd go out there and watch trains go by and have them do like they do with the train, the truck whistle things. And we'd rock back and forth because the house would rock and when the train would go by. The entire world being held hostage by the people that own it. It's a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing about a woman or a girl. Built the trains to carry the heavy loads and to buy the toys to keep them happy. It's horrible, isn't it? Yeah. If invention doesn't make our lives better, it isn't sustained so we don't have to destroy the planet to maintain success through invention, your ideas suck. Can't stand the atomic weapon, the B-2 bomber, the spy satellite, or the spy equipment in their watch. And they don't even really need spy equipment. They just come into your house and seduce you and saying you can be a sex star. Everybody will pay millions of dollars to look at you touch your vagina and give them the boyfriend experience. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? No. Want a Hearst donut? Well, go write it down in the trench, Mom. Guys, your trench warfare sucks. Aren't you glad that he was, when that's why Robert E. Lee told, because him and Longstreet were friends. And Longstreet, who protected blacks from carpetbaggers and assholes and stuff and Jim Crow stuff in Louisiana until he died. He was a lot like Lee. They served together because they were moral men and Christians and friends. Yeah. Both sides, there were shitty guys that Captain just gave us one of Hertz donut, that were assholes. George Custer. He's one of the main reasons why the Union started winning, because of the brutality. Sheridan, right? Sherman, the total warfare guys. They won the war because they'd burn Atlanta and burn all the supply lines and put this thing to a quick end, right? It would have gone to a quick end if McClellan didn't want to be president and maintain the status quo and undermine Lincoln. Lincoln had everything in place. He had the railroads, he had this and that. He goes, we can squash this rebellion in 6 months and then go reestablish commerce with them and let them have their own factories and stuff in the South, in Birmingham and all that, with the right people that will not exploit the people and will stop the slave trade, is what Lincoln said. If we do this right. What happened? The border slave states things fucked him. Just like George Walker Bush in his exit speech when Earl was going to be revealed to the world. I wanted to open up the border, and I wanted us to have an open relationship with the Mexicans so they weren't mass murdering each other through human trafficking and drug deals, but my own party betrayed me. The best day I spent in my presidency was going and working with the people picking lettuce, the hardworking Mexican people that are being killed by chemical poisoning. And I want to save those people, and we can all work together in the fields. Basically what George Walker Bush, said, everybody in Congress would be better off if they went and picked lettuce with migrant workers to provide food for families instead of kill the migrant workers to be business partners with cloners who want to replace migrant workers with robots to keep the clones safe. It's basically what George Bush was saying. Okay. Well, because George is trying to be a good Christian, and so was his wife, Laura. All right, do you understand? Okay. So they terrorize your families and try to make you into a propaganda tool bag idiot on TV because you won't stand up and say, hey, Parsons, Las Cruces, Lord's Prayer, Odele. Yay! Why not? I think it's a primal fear reprogrammed them in them every night in their dreams that they can't think straight because of their brain injuries. I think that's the main thing that's happening because it affects my family as well. And I'll talk to them, and it was like the kids at Blake's, and at Fiesta Foods. You talk to them one day and explain to them exactly what's happening. Have you watched the Weather Channel? This is happening because of the... And they'll come back and say, no, you're wrong because an expert said it's because of this and that. Oh, okay. So an expert said the Bible is all real, instead of like when I talked to those people about it, we were talking about Jonah, and I said, no, Jonah's a dream notebook. That stuff doesn't really happen. And the mom agreed with me. She goes, oh, okay. Oh, I thought you were saying Job. No, Job happened, but the way it is pretty much in the story, except for the God watching from the clouds things, like on a Lou Ferrigno Hercules movie. But, the book of Jonah it's a dream notebook. That doesn't happen in real life. It's the dreams that he's having about, like I have. My dreams suck. Because computer programmers and scientists will try to destroy you, not just physically, but psychologically and emotionally. Because what they do to your brain activity affects people like you throughout time. And they want to win. And they want to stay in power with their technology and manipulate people with money. And then go to little tiny homes in Germany and say, well, why are you doing this? Okay, why are you? That's like being in a cell. It's like accepting a prison cell because you can only afford this much money and a space to live. And then you're happy in that cell. And then you isolate yourself and you don't have meaningful relationships with people or your children because you live in the cell. And you don't want to have kids because you don't have room for kids, like the little girl who's a Muslim in the slum in India, right? No, we can't have kids in there. My husband has to keep trying to invest and double our money so we can get a bigger place and then have children. Will that happen? I don't know. Will it ever stop? Ice, ice, baby. Right? So it's horrible. Nothing rhymes with Winkle. Yes, Dinkle does. Dinkle man. But comfortable. Be comfortable. Be comfortable with the one that loves you and love the one that you're with comfortably. Don't seek bigger, better, faster, be faithful to eternal faithful love. And when you do that, you'll be very more than content with the love that you're sharing and the love that you're giving. People that compete and compare are never happy. Okay? People that are faithful find ways to be happy even when unfaithful people are trying to make them miserable. I'm happy that I'm doing the right thing. I'm happy that I love people and hate shopping. I'm happy that Proverbs is perfect and that I stand up for it every day. I'm happy that the Lord's Prayer is perfect and I tell everybody about it everywhere I go. I'm happy that I'm a truthful, faithful person and reflecting the glory of the soul to the best of my ability in everything I do. I'm happy I'm doing that because I'd be miserable and I'd want to kill myself if I was afraid of dying and I thought if they were going to kill me. You see what I'm saying? So I'm happy to be a good person. Okay. But I'm tolerable right now because I'm being a good person, being tortured by bad people because they're never happy. I got to win. I want more. I need a bigger dick. I need bigger butts. I need to fuck more. I need all the girls I have sex with, okay, to have vaginas that are like Borat's talking about, it's just, so it doesn't, it's like this, it's like the anus of a whatever and not hangs like wizard sleeve, it's horrible. Just make love to your wife, be healthy and work your wife. Making love to her and snuggling like the Notebook is better than the first time. Because you have Kate and you have Emily and you have Noah, right? All the love you got from her, you didn't have until the end of your marriage, not the beginning. It's not about sex, it's about love. You're so fucking sick. You're so fucking disgusting. Your dick and your brain are insane, and your dick doesn't think, so neither does your brain. Go invent something. You've got a great idea. Put some spy equipment to threaten everybody with nuclear weapons if you can't fuck all the 12-year-olds. You're a disgusting, brothel inventing pile of shit. And the truth of creation doesn't even get into your fucked up little brain because the soul is completely trapped there. Now go make a TV show about people committing crimes in the 70s on Indian reservations for lots of money to go to the casino and see Johnny Gambler and Melody. All right? Beauty school dropout. Okay, grow the fuck up. And if you can't do that, don't worry about it. I'm the focal point of fixing technology to save us from genocide over money. Okay? I love you. All right? Peace.